The fork in my hand feels heavier than it should, like it's anchoring me to the table while everything else spins out of control. The kitchen smells of roasted chicken and garlic, but there's no comfort in it tonight. Across from me, my wife sits with her arms crossed, her jaw tight, her eyes boring into me like I've just committed some unforgivable crime. I told her no. Just one word, calm and steady, when she asked, demanded, really, that I hand over my credit card to her brother again. That's all it took to crack the fragile peace we've been tiptoeing around for months. I set the fork down, my appetite gone, and brace myself for what I know is coming. You don't say no to her without paying a price. She leans forward, her voice low at first, like she's trying to keep it together. You're serious? You're really going to do this to him? Her words are sharp, each one a jab. I don't answer right away. I'm tired of this argument, tired of explaining why I won't keep bailing out her brother, who hasn't held a job in years and treats my wallet like his personal ATM. I've paid for his rent, his car repairs, his phone bills, thousands of dollars I'll never see again. I'm done. I told her that last week, and I meant it. But she's acting like I'm betraying her, not him. I take a sip of water, buying time, hoping she'll let it go. She doesn't. Her chair scrapes against the floor as she stands, her mug of coffee still steaming in her hand. He's family, she says, louder now, her voice trembling with that mix of anger and disbelief she gets when I don't bend. You don't get to just cut him off because you're feeling stingy. What's wrong with you? I look up at her, and for a second, I almost feel guilty. She's good at that, making me question myself, making me wonder if I'm the one being unreasonable. But then I remember the bank statements, the overdraft fees, the way he smirked last month when he asked for just a little more to cover some vague emergency. No, I'm not wrong. I'm not cutting him off. I say, keeping my tone even. I'm saying he needs to figure things out on his own. I can't keep doing this. Her eyes narrow, and I can see the storm building. She doesn't want to hear reason. She wants me to give in, like always. But I'm not that guy anymore. Somewhere along the line, I stopped being the man who just nods and hands over whatever she wants. Maybe it was the late nights balancing our budget while she slept. Maybe it was the way she dismissed my concerns, telling me I was overreacting. Whatever it was, I'm not going back. She laughs, but it's not funny. It's bitter, cutting. You think you're so high and mighty, don't you? Sitting there like you're better than us. Us. That word stings. It's always her and her brother against me, like I'm the outsider in my own marriage. I open my mouth to respond, but before I can, she grabs her mug and flings the coffee at me. It happens so fast, I don't even flinch until the hot liquid hits my face. Pain sears across my cheek and neck, sharp and immediate. I gasp, stumbling back, my chair tipping over as I press my hands to my skin. The mug clatters to the floor, unbroken, mocking me with its survival. For a moment, there's silence. My eyes sting, not just from the heat but from the shock. I blink through the blur, staring at her, waiting for an apology, for anything that might pull us back from this edge. But she's standing there, chest heaving, her face twisted with rage. He's coming tomorrow, she shouts, her voice echoing in the small kitchen. You either give him what he needs, or you get out of this house. The words land like a slap, harder than the coffee ever could. I wipe my face with my sleeve, the burn still throbbing, and something inside me shifts. It's not anger, not yet. It's clarity. I don't say anything. I don't trust myself to. Instead, I walk to the sink, grab a towel, and press it to my cheek. The cold fabric soothes the pain, but it doesn't touch the ache in my chest. I look at her again, really look at her, and I don't recognize the woman staring back. The one I married laughed easily, dreamed with me, promised we'd face the world together. This woman, this stranger, wants to control me, to break me down until I'm nothing but a signature on a check. I don't know when she changed, or maybe I just stopped pretending she hadn't. I turn and walk out of the kitchen, the towel still pressed to my face. Her voice follows me, shrill and desperate now. You're not walking away from this. You hear me? I keep going, up the stairs, into the bathroom. I lock the door and lean against it, my breath shaky. The mirror shows my cheek, red and raw, but it's my eyes that scare me. They're empty, like I've already checked out. I splash cold water on my face, wincing as it stings, and I start to think. Not about her words or her brother or even the pain. I think about me, about what I want, about what I deserve. That night, I don't sleep. I lie in the guest room, the door locked, listening to the house settle. My mind races, piecing together a plan I didn't even know I'd been forming. I think about everything I've given up, friends, hobbies, pieces of myself, all to keep her happy. I think about the years I've spent trying to fix something that was never mine to fix. And I think about tomorrow. She said he's coming. She said I have to choose. Fine, I'll choose. But not the way she expects. I pull out my phone and scroll through my contacts until I find the one person I trust. My thumb hovers over the name, hesitating. It's late, but I know he'll answer. I type a quick message, vague but urgent, and hit send. Then I sit back, the towel still clutched in my hand, and I let myself imagine a life without her. Without her demands, her anger, her brother's shadow hanging over everything. It feels impossible, like I'm dreaming. But the burn on my cheek says otherwise. It's real, and so is my decision. By the time the first light creeps through the window, I'm not the same man I was at dinner. I'm not the man who said no and hoped she'd listen. I'm someone else, someone who's done waiting for things to get better. I get up, my cheeks still sore, and I start moving. There's work to do before she gets back, before he shows up, before I walk away for good. The morning air feels sharper than it should, like it's slicing through the fog in my head as I stand in the driveway, watching the sun creep over the horizon. My cheek still stings from last night, a dull reminder of the coffee and the words that followed. I didn't sleep, not really, just a few restless hours in the guest room, my mind churning with what I'm about to do. She left for work an hour ago, her car peeling out of the driveway like she was daring me to stop her. She didn't say a word to me, didn't even look my way. That's fine. I don't need her to see me now. I need her gone. I pull out my phone and check the time. Harold will be here soon. He's the only one I could call for something like this. My old army buddy, the guy who's seen me at my worst and never flinched. I texted him last night, just a few words. Need help moving. Urgent. He didn't ask questions, just replied, on my way at 7. That's Harold. No nonsense, no drama. I glance at the house, its quiet windows staring back at me, and I feel a strange calm settle in. This is it. The moment I take back what's mine. I start in the office, my hands steady as I pull open the desk drawers. The important stuff first, my passport, birth certificate, the deed to my grandfather's old cabin upstate. I stuff them into a lockbox, along with the external hard drive that holds my consulting work and client contracts. My laptop goes into a backpack, followed by a few journals I've kept over the years, pages filled with thoughts I never shared with her. I pause at a photo on the shelf, us on our wedding day, smiling like the world was ours. My thumb brushes the frame, and for a second, I hesitate. Then I set it down. That life's gone. No use carrying its ghost. The doorbell chimes, and I find Harold standing there, his pickup truck idling in the driveway. He's a big guy, broad shoulders and a beard that makes him look like he could wrestle a bear, but his eyes are soft when he sees me. You good? He asks, stepping inside. I nod, even though I'm not sure it's true. Thanks for coming, I say, and he just claps my shoulder, his grip firm. Let's get to it, he says, already scanning the room like he's sizing up a mission. I point him to the garage, where I've got boxes ready for the bigger stuff, my tools, a few heirlooms from my parents, the leather chair my dad left me. Harold doesn't ask what happened or why I'm doing this. He just starts loading. We work fast, moving through the house like we're on a clock. I take the family albums from the living room shelf, the ones with pictures of my mom and dad before they passed. I grab my running shoes, my winter coat, the coffee maker I bought with my first paycheck. Every item feels like a piece of myself I'm reclaiming, something she can't touch. The house starts to look strange, half empty, like it's holding its breath. I don't touch her things, her clothes, her jewelry, the tacky vases her brother gave her. Those belong to her world, not mine. In the bedroom, I pack my clothes into 2 suitcases, leaving the suit she picked out for me hanging in the closet. I don't want anything that reminds me of her version of who I should be. I find my old watch, the one my dad gave me when I graduated college, tucked in a drawer. It's scratched but solid, like it's been waiting for me to come back to it. I slip it on, and the weight of it grounds me. Harold calls from downstairs, saying the truck's almost full. I take one last look around the room, at the bed where we used to talk about our future. It feels like someone else's life now. We finish by noon, the truck packed tight with everything that matters. The house isn't bare, not completely. There's still furniture, dishes, the TV she insisted we buy even though we couldn't afford it. But it's hollow, like a stage set after the actors have left. I walk through each room, checking for anything I missed. In the kitchen, I see the mug she threw, sitting on the counter like nothing happened. My cheek throbs at the memory, but I don't touch it. Let her deal with it when she gets back. Harold's waiting by the truck, leaning against the tailgate. Where to? He asks, and I give him the address of a storage unit I rented a few months ago. I didn't know why I got it at the time, just a gut feeling that I'd need somewhere safe to keep things. Now it feels like I was preparing for this all along. We drive in silence, the radio off, the hum of the engine filling the space between us. I watch the neighborhood slip by, the houses I used to think were so perfect. They don't look the same anymore. At the storage unit, we unload everything, stacking boxes neatly in the small space. Harold helps me lock it up, then hands me the key. You sure about this? He asks, his voice low. I nod, the weight of the key in my palm feeling like a promise. I'm sure, I say, and for the first time today, I mean it. He doesn't push, just gives me a look that says he's got my back, no matter what comes next. We head back to the house one last time to grab my car. I park it down the street, out of sight, and take a final walk through the place. It's quieter now, the kind of quiet that presses against your ears. I don't feel sad, not exactly, just empty, like I've shed something heavy. I lock the front door behind me and slip the key under the mat. She'll find it eventually. Or maybe she won't. Either way, I'm done here. I drive to a hotel on the edge of town, a plain extended stay place where no one will ask questions. I check in, carry my backpack to the room, and sit on the edge of the bed. The silence is different here, not heavy, not suffocating. It's mine. I pull out my phone and delete my social media apps, my emails sync to the house computer, anything that ties me to her. I'm not hiding, not really, just making sure she can't follow. Not yet. As the sun sets, I lie back and stare at the ceiling. My cheek still burns, but it's fading, like a signal that I made it through. I think about what's coming, her reaction, her brother's demands, the mess they'll walk into. But that's tomorrow. For now, I close my eyes, and for the first time in years, I feel like I can breathe. I'm not done, not by a long shot. But I've started, and that's enough. I'm not there when they walk into the house, but I can picture it clear as day, the way the door creaks open, the echo of their footsteps on the hardwood floor, the moment they realize something's wrong. I'm miles away now, sitting in a diner with a cup of black coffee cooling in front of me, my phone off, my mind quiet for the first time in days. I don't need to see their faces to know what's coming. She'll scream. Her brother will curse. They'll tear through the rooms looking for my stuff, expecting to find it all waiting for them like I'm still the guy who bends every time they push. But I'm not that guy anymore. And the house? It's not what they think it is. I left something behind, not my things, not my money, nothing they can use. I left a plan, one I've been piecing together for weeks without even knowing it. It started as a feeling, a nagging thought in the back of my mind every time she demanded more, every time her brother showed up with his hand out. I'd lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how I'd gotten here, married to someone who'd rather burn me than listen. That's when I started talking to Mr. Collier, my lawyer. Not for anything big, not at first, just advice, a way to protect what was mine. I didn't know I'd need him like this, but I'm glad I made the call. He's there now, waiting for them. I can see him in my head, sitting in the living room, his suit crisp, his briefcase on the coffee table, his face calm as a still lake. Mr. Collier's the kind of man who doesn't raise his voice because he doesn't need to. He's got that quiet authority, the kind that makes people listen even when they're raging. I told him everything about the coffee, the threats, the way her brother's been bleeding me dry for years. He didn't flinch, just nodded and said, "We'll handle it." That's all I needed to hear. So when I left the house this morning, I gave him the spare key and a simple instruction: be there when they show up. I take a sip of my coffee, wincing as it touches the raw spot on my cheek. The diner's half empty, just a few truckers and a waitress wiping down the counter. It feels good to be somewhere no one knows me, where I'm not the guy who's always apologizing, always fixing things. I keep my eyes on the window, watching cars pass by, but my mind's back at the house. I wonder how long it took them to notice the place was different, my chair gone, the shelves missing my books, the office stripped of my files. Did they think I just moved stuff to the garage? Did they check the closets, expecting to find my suits still hanging there? I almost laugh thinking about it. They're so used to getting what they want, they never saw this coming. Mr. Collier's got one job today: deliver the envelope. I didn't write it myself, he did, with my input. It's not a letter, not some dramatic goodbye. It's a legal notice, clean and cold, laying out the facts. I don't live there anymore. The house is in my name, always has been, and I've already started the process to secure it. Anything I took was mine, receipts, records, proof I've got tucked away in that storage unit. Her brother can scream about stolen property all he wants, but he's got nothing. Neither does she. The envelope says it all, and Mr. Collier's there to make sure they understand. I imagine her face when he hands it to her, that moment when her anger turns to confusion, then to something else, fear, maybe, or disbelief. She's not used to losing control. She's always been the one calling the shots, telling me what I owe her, what I owe her family. But this is me saying I'm done playing her game. I don't need to yell or throw things to make my point. I just needed to walk away and let the truth do the rest. Mr. Collier's good at that, cutting through the noise with a few well-chosen words. I bet he's sitting there now, watching her rip open the envelope, her brother pacing behind her, muttering threats he can't back up. I stir my coffee, the spoon clinking against the mug, and I wonder what she'll do next. Will she call me, leave a dozen voicemails screaming about betrayal? Will she try to play the victim, tell her friends I abandoned her? I don't care anymore. That's the strange part. I thought I'd feel angry, or scared, or even sad, but I don't. I feel free. Like I've been carrying a weight so long I forgot what it was like to set it down. My cheek still hurts, but it's a reminder now, not a wound. A reminder that I'm not going back. The diner's clock ticks toward evening, and I know it's happening now. They're there, facing Mr. Collier, reading the words that change everything. I can almost hear her brother's voice, loud and desperate, demanding to know where I am, what I've done. He's probably throwing around words like lawyer and sue, like he's got any ground to stand on. Mr. Collier won't budge. He'll just sit there, calm as ever, letting them burn themselves out. And when they're done, he'll say what he told me he'd say: your actions cost you a marriage. Good day. Then he'll walk out, leaving them in that empty house with nothing but their own mess. I finish my coffee and set the mug down, my hand steady. The waitress comes by, asks if I want a refill. I shake my head, leave a few bucks on the table, and step outside. The air's cooler now, the sky turning purple at the edges. I pull my jacket tighter and start walking toward my car, parked a block away. My phone's still off, and I don't plan to turn it on anytime soon. I don't need to know what they're saying, what they're planning. I've got my own plans now, and they don't include her, or her brother, or that house. As I slide into the driver's seat, I catch my reflection in the rearview mirror. My cheeks still red, but my eyes look different, clearer, like I'm seeing myself for the first time in years. I start the engine and pull onto the road, the diner fading in the distance. I don't know where I'm going yet. Not exactly. The hotel's waiting, but that's just a stop, not a destination. For now, I'm just driving, letting the road take me wherever it leads. The house is behind me, and so is she. And for the first time in a long time, I'm okay with that. Better than okay. I'm ready for what's next. The hotel room smells like clean sheets and cheap air freshener, a far cry from the house I left behind yesterday. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, my backpack open beside me, pulling out the few things I brought. Socks, a couple of shirts, my old running shoes. The lockbox with my documents is tucked under the bed, safe for now. My cheek doesn't burn as much today, but it's still tender when I touch it. A faint echo of what happened at dinner. I don't linger on it. There's too much to do, too much to figure out. For the first time in years, I'm not reacting to someone else's demands. I'm choosing my own steps, and it feels strange, good, but strange. I glance at the clock on the nightstand. It's just past noon, and the day stretches out in front of me like an empty page. I could stay here, unpack, maybe sleep for the first time in days, but I don't want to sit still. Not yet. I grab my phone, hesitating before I turn it on. No messages, no calls, at least not yet. I blocked her number last night, and her brother's, too. I don't want to hear her voice, or his, or whatever excuse they've cooked up since Mr. Collier handed them that. I scroll through my contacts until I find Caleb's name. My cousin. The one person I haven't talked to in years, not because we fought, but because I let her pull me away from everyone who mattered. I hit call before I can overthink it. He picks up on the second ring, his voice warm but cautious. Hey, stranger. Been a while. I smile despite myself, leaning back against the headboard. Yeah, too long, I say, and we talk for a bit, small stuff at first, catching up like no time's passed. He's a therapist now, living a couple of hours away, still single, still cracking bad jokes. I don't tell him everything, not right away. Just enough. The fight, the coffee, The fact that I'm not going back. He listens, doesn't push, but I can hear the concern in his silence. You got a place to stay? He asks. I tell him about the hotel, and he offers his couch, no questions asked. I thank him, but say I'm good for now. I need to do this on my own, at least for a little while. After we hang up, I feel lighter, like I've remembered a part of myself I forgot existed. I grab my journal from the backpack, an old leather-bound thing I haven't touched in months. The pages are half filled with notes from better days, ideas for my consulting business, dreams I used to have before they got buried under her expectations. I start writing, not planning what to say, just letting it spill out. The words come slow at first, then faster, about the fight, about how I felt when I walked away, about the quiet I'm chasing now. It's messy, raw, but it's mine. For once, I'm not writing to fix anything or explain myself. I'm writing to understand. I set the pen down after a while and stretch, my muscles stiff from yesterday's work with Harold. I think about running, something I used to do every morning before she started complaining it took time away from her. My shoes are in the corner, still laced up, waiting. I change into a t-shirt and shorts, grab my keycard, and head out. The hotel's near a park, and I find a trail that loops through some trees, the kind of place where the world feels bigger than your problems. I start slow, my legs rusty, but the rhythm comes back, steady and sure. My breath burns in my chest, but it's a good burn, not like the one on my cheek. Each step feels like I'm leaving something behind, a fight, a doubt, a piece of the man I used to be. Back at the hotel, I shower and sit at the small desk by the window, the journal open again. I don't write this time. I just think, staring out at the parking lot, the cars glinting under the afternoon sun. I keep coming back to what I want, not just today, but tomorrow, next month, next year. I want peace, but not the kind that comes from giving in. I want the kind that comes from knowing I'm enough, just as I am. That's what she took from me, bit by bit, until I started believing I wasn't. Her brother didn't help, always there with his hand out, his smirk saying I owed him something just for existing. But I don't owe either of them anything. Not anymore. My phone buzzes, and I flinch, half expecting it to be her, somehow getting through. It's not. It's Mr. Collier, his name steady on the screen. I answer, and his voice is calm, like always. It's done, he says, and I know he means the envelope, the meeting, the moment they realized I'm gone. He doesn't give details, just says they took it about as well as I'd expect, and he's already started the next steps, legal protections, paperwork to make sure they can't touch what's mine. You did the right thing, he adds, and I nod, even though he can't see me. Thanks, I say, and we hang up. I don't ask what they said or how they looked. I don't need to know. It's over. I open the journal again, but instead of writing about the past, I start listing things I want to do. Simple stuff. Run 3 times a week. Rebuild my business. Visit Caleb soon. Bigger stuff, too, like finding a place that's mine, not ours. I think about the cabin upstate, the one my grandfather left me. It's old, needs work, but it's quiet, surrounded by trees and sky. Maybe I'll go there someday, fix it up, make it a refuge. The thought makes me smile, a real one, not the kind I used to fake to keep her happy. The sun's dipping low now, painting the room orange. I stand and stretch again, feeling the ache in my legs from the run. It's a good ache, like my body's waking up after a long sleep. I grab a bottle of water from the mini fridge and sit back down, flipping through the journal to a blank page. I don't write yet. I just hold the pen, letting the quiet settle around me. For years, I lived in her noise, her demands, her fights, her brother's shadow. Now, it's just me, and I'm starting to remember what that feels like. I'm not naive. I know she won't let this go easy. There'll be calls, maybe lawyers, definitely drama. Her brother will push her to fight, to make me pay for walking away. But I'm ready. Mr. Collier's got my back, and so does Caleb, and so do I. That's the difference now. I'm not fighting to prove anything to her. I'm fighting for me, for the life I want, the peace I deserve. I close the journal and lean back, the room dark now except for the glow from the parking lot lights. Tomorrow's another day, and for once, I'm not dreading it. I'm here, breathing, planning, living. And that's enough. I'm sitting at the hotel desk, a cup of gas station coffee cooling beside me, staring at a photo I found tucked in my journal this morning. It's from our first year together, me and her, laughing at some beach barbecue, the sun setting behind us. My arms around her, and she's leaning into me, her smile wide and real. I don't remember who took the picture, but I remember that day, how it felt like we could take on anything as long as we were together. Now, looking at it, I feel like I'm staring at strangers. Not just her, but me, too, the guy who thought love meant saying yes to everything, even when it hurt. I set the photo down and rubbed my eyes, trying to shake the weight of it. The past keeps creeping in today, pulling me back to places I don't want to go. It's been a few days since I left the house, and the quiet of this hotel room is starting to feel like home, which is both comforting and unsettling. I've been running every morning, writing in my journal, talking to Caleb when I need to hear a voice that isn't my own. But today, my mind's stuck, replaying the years that led to this, how I let things slide, how I ignored the signs, how I became someone I barely recognize. I pick up my pen, thinking I'll write it out, but the words don't come easy. It's not just about the coffee she threw or her brother's endless mooching. It's about everything before that, the slow erosion of who I was. I think about the early days, when her fire seemed like passion, not control. She'd talk about her dreams, big ones, like opening a boutique or traveling the world, and I'd listen, nodding, promising to help make them happen. I didn't mind working extra hours, picking up freelance jobs to cover her spending, because it felt like we were building something together. But the boutique never happened. The trips never came. Her dreams turned into credit card bills, and somehow, I was always the one paying. I told myself it was temporary, that she'd find her way, that love meant carrying the load when she couldn't. I didn't see how she was carrying nothing, just piling more on me. Her brother showed up a year into our marriage, crashing on our couch after some vague fallout with his roommate. I thought it'd be a week, maybe two, but weeks turned into months, then years, and he never left. He'd borrow my car, eat my food, ask for loans he never paid back. I'd come home from work to find him sprawled on the couch, smirking like he owned the place. I'd try to talk to her about it, but she'd shut me down, saying he was family, that I didn't understand loyalty. Loyalty. That word became a weapon, one she used to make me feel small for wanting boundaries, for wanting respect. I leaned back in the chair, the hotel room dim except for the light filtering through the blinds. I remember the friends I lost, not because they left, but because I did. She didn't like them, said they were judgmental, that they didn't get us. So I stopped calling, stopped showing up to poker nights or barbecues. It was easier than fighting about it. My hobbies went next. I used to build model planes, tiny detailed things that took hours of focus. She called them childish, a waste of time. I sold my tools one weekend when she said we needed cash for a new couch. I didn't argue. I never argued. That was my role, the calm one, the fixer, the guy who kept the peace no matter what it cost. The coffee's cold now, but I sip it anyway, wincing as it brushes the healing spot on my cheek. I think about how she'd twist things, make me doubt myself. If I questioned her spending, she'd cry, say I didn't trust her. If I pushed back on her brother's freeloading, she'd yell, call me selfish. Every time, I'd back down, thinking I was saving us, not seeing how I was losing myself. She wasn't just entitled, she was calculated, wrapping her control in tears or anger or guilt. Whatever worked. I see it now, clear as day, but back then, I was too close, too tangled in her web to notice. I flip open the journal, not to write but to read, skimming pages from last year. There's a note about a fight we had when I found out she'd maxed out my card, again, for her brother's business idea. I'd yelled at time, rare for me, but she just stood there, arms crossed, saying I was overreacting. I wrote how I felt like a bank, not a husband. Reading it now, I wonder why I stayed so long. Fear, maybe. Not of her, but of being alone, of admitting I'd failed at the one thing I thought I'd gotten right. Marriage was supposed to be forever, wasn't it? So I kept trying, kept giving, until that mug hit my face and woke me up. My phone buzzes, snapping me out of it. It's Mr. Collier, his name a steady anchor on the screen. I answer, and his voice is as calm as ever, like he's discussing the weather. We've got options, he says, and I lean forward, listening. He talks about financial abuse, how we can prove it with bank records, how her brother's loans could be grounds for legal action. I don't want to sue, not yet. Maybe not ever, but knowing I could feels like armor. Let's protect what's mine first, I say, and he agrees, outlining steps for a divorce filing, a restraining order, whatever it takes to keep them at bay. We'll do this clean, he says. Peacefully. I nod, even though he can't see me. Peaceful. That's what I want, but not the kind I used to chase by giving in. The kind that comes from standing firm. I hang up and set the phone down, my hand steady. The photo's still there, staring up at me, but I don't feel the pull anymore. I slide it back into the journal, closing the cover like I'm closing a door. She wasn't a villain, not always, just someone who took too much and gave too little. And I wasn't a hero, just a guy who forgot he deserved better. The coffee incident wasn't the start of it, but it was the end. It showed me what she was, what I'd become, what I never want to be again. I stand and stretch, the room feeling smaller now, like I've outgrown it already. I think about what Mr. Collier said, going to war, but peacefully. It's not about revenge, not about hurting her or her brother. It's about taking back my life, piece by piece, until I'm whole again. I grab my running shoes, lacing them up without thinking. The trail's waiting, and so is the rest of my day. I'm not the man in that photo anymore, not the one who said yes to keep the peace. I'm someone new, someone who's ready to fight for himself. And that fight starts now, one step at a time. I'm sitting in the hotel room, the blinds half open, letting in slants of morning light that cut across the carpet. My journal's open on the desk, but I haven't written anything today. Instead, I'm staring at my phone, which I turned on for the first time in a couple of days. The screen's lit up with notifications, missed calls, voicemails, texts, all from numbers I don't recognize but know are hers. She must have gotten new ones after I blocked her. There's even an email, the subject line just my name in all caps. I don't open any of it. Not yet. I know what's waiting. Her voice swinging from fury to tears, her brother's threats, the same script they'd been running for years. I set the phone down and lean back, the chair creaking under me. I'm not ready to let them in, not when I'm just starting to find my footing. It's been a week since I walked out, since Mr. Collier handed them that envelope and turned their world upside down. I haven't heard from him since our last call, but I know he's working, putting up walls to protect what's mine. I trust him, which is a relief after years of not trusting my own judgment. I keep thinking about what he said, financial abuse, legal recourse, a clean break. It's not just about money or the house. It's about cutting the strings she tied around me, the ones I didn't see until they were choking me. I rub my cheek, the skin almost healed now, and I feel a strange gratitude for that moment. Not for the pain, but for the clarity. It was the push I needed to stop pretending things would get better. I stand and pace the small room, my running shoes still damp from this morning's trail. I've been running every day, pushing myself until my lungs burn and my legs ache. It's not just exercise. It's a way to feel alive, to remind myself I'm still here. I stop at the window, looking out at the parking lot, the cars glinting under the sun. I wonder what she's doing right now. Is she still in the house, surrounded by the half-empty rooms I left behind? Is her brother there, scheming, telling her I'll cave if they push hard enough? I almost laugh at the thought. They don't know me anymore, not the me I'm becoming, anyway. My phone buzzes again, and I glance at it, half expecting another unknown number. It's Caleb, texting to check in. You holding up? He writes. I smile, typing back a quick yeah, getting there. He's been calling every couple of days, not pushing but just there, like a lifeline I didn't know I needed. I haven't told him everything yet, but I will soon. For now, it's enough to know he's in my corner. I set the phone down and grab my journal, flipping to a blank page. I don't write about her, or the house, or the fight. I write about yesterday's run, how the air smelled like pine, how my legs felt strong for the first time in years. It's small, but it's mine, and that matters. I'm halfway through a sentence when there's a knock at the door. My stomach twists, instinct kicking in, but I shake it off. She doesn't know where I am. No one does except Harold and Caleb, and they'd never tell. I open the door to find a courier, a kid in a polo shirt holding a thick envelope. You Marcus Vance? He asks. I nod, signing for it, and he's gone before I can say anything else. The envelope's from Mr. Collier's office, heavy in my hands. I sit on the bed and open it, pulling out a stack of papers. Divorce filings, a draft of a restraining order, a letter summarizing what's next. My eyes catch on one line, served at her workplace. I pause, picturing it, her face when they handed her the papers, her colleagues watching, her pride cracking like thin ice. I don't smile, but I don't feel guilty, either. She chose this when she threw that mug. I read through the papers, my hands steady. Mr. Collier's thorough. Every asset I took is documented, every receipt attached, every step planned to keep her and her brother at arm's length. There's a note about her brother's threats, how he's claiming I stole from him. I shake my head, almost amused. Stole what? The money I earned? The things I bought? He's got no proof, no claim, but he'll try anyway. That's who he is, loud, desperate, always looking for a payout. I set the papers down and lean back, closing my eyes. Let him try. I'm ready. The phone buzzes again, another text, but I ignore it. I don't need to see her words to know what they'll say. She'll call me a coward for leaving, then beg me to come back, then threaten me when I don't answer. Her brother will be worse, shouting about lawyers, about how I'll regret this. But they're unraveling now, and I can feel it, even from here. She built her life on control, over me, over him, over everything, and now it's slipping through her fingers. I wonder if she sees it yet, if she understands what she's losing. Not me, not really, just the version of me she created, the one who paid for her mistakes and called it love. I think about her brother turning on her, and I know it's coming. He's only loyal as long as there's something to gain. Without my money, without the house to mooch off, what's left? She'll fight him, or he'll leave, or they'll both spiral, blaming each other for the mess. I don't wish it on them, not exactly. I just don't care enough to stop it. They made their choices, just like I'm making mine. I open my eyes and pick up the journal again, but I don't write. I just sit there, letting the quiet sink in. It's not the kind of quiet I used to dread, the kind that came before her next demand. It's the kind that feels like possibility, like a door I'm finally brave enough to open. I grab my shoes and head out for another run, the afternoon air warm against my skin. The trail's busier today, kids on bikes, a couple walking their dog, but I don't mind. I run faster than usual, my breath sharp and steady, my mind clear. I think about what's next, not her, not the divorce, but me. Maybe I'll call Caleb tonight, tell him more, let him help me unpack the years I've been carrying. Maybe I'll start looking for a place, somewhere small, somewhere mine. For now, though, I just run, each step pulling me further from the man I was. Back at the hotel, I shower and sit at the desk, the papers from Mr. Collier still there, a reminder of what's in motion. I don't read them again. I don't need to. They're not the end. They're the beginning, a way to close one chapter so I can write another. I look at my phone, the notifications piled up, and I delete them without listening, without reading. Their voices don't belong here anymore. This room, this moment, this life, it's mine now. And I'm not letting go. I'm standing in the doorway of a small apartment above a bookstore, the smell of old paper and polished wood wrapping around me like a warm coat. The place is nothing fancy. Bare walls, a creaky hardwood floor, a single window overlooking a quiet street. But it feels like mine already, even with just a backpack slung over my shoulder. The landlady, Ms. Devora, hands me the key, her eyes sharp but kind, like she's sizing me up and approving at the same time. "You'll do fine here," she says, her voice low and certain, and I nod, grateful for the vote of confidence. It's been 2 weeks since I left the house, and this is the first place I've walked into that doesn't feel temporary. I'm ready to stop running, at least for a while. The apartment's sparsely furnished, a bed, a small table, a couple of chairs, but that's enough for now. I set my backpack down and walk to the window, looking out at the street below. A few people pass by, heads down, carrying coffee or bags of groceries. It's a normal day for them, and I realize I want that normal, quiet mind. I've been living out of a hotel, dodging calls I don't answer, waiting for Mr. Collier to handle the legal mess I left behind. But this is a step forward, a place to rebuild from the ground up. I turn back to the room, imagining where I'll put a desk, maybe a shelf for my journals. Small dreams, but they feel bigger than anything I chased when I was with her. Ms. Devora lingers in the doorway, watching me take it in. She's in her 60s, with gray hair pulled into a loose bun and a no-nonsense way about her that reminds me of my mom. "You need anything, you let me know," she says, then adds, "The bookstore's open late. Come down if you can't sleep." I thank her, and she leaves, her footsteps fading down the stairs. I'm alone now, but it's not the kind of alone I used to fear. It's the kind that gives you space to breathe, to think, to figure out who you are when no one's demanding pieces of you. I unpack what little I brought: clothes, my laptop, the lockbox with my documents. The journals go on the table, their worn covers a reminder of the words I've poured out since I left. I've been writing more, not just about the past, but about now, how it feels to run every morning, how Caleb's voice sounds hopeful when we talk, how I'm starting to like the guy I see in the mirror again. I open one and flip to a blank page, but I don't write yet. Instead, I head downstairs to the bookstore, curious about the place I'll call home for a while. The shop's cozy, with shelves crammed full of books and a few armchairs tucked in corners. Ms. Devora's behind the counter, sorting receipts, but she nods me toward a stack of paperbacks she's giving away. "Take what you like," she says, and I grab a couple old mysteries, the kind I used to read before life got too heavy for stories. I thank her again and head back upstairs, the books under my arm, feeling like I've just claimed a small victory. Reading for fun, choosing for myself, it's new again, and I'm not taking it for granted. I spend the afternoon settling in, moving the table by the window so I can see the street while I work. My laptop's open, and I pull up some old files from my consulting business, digital marketing stuff I used to love before she called it a hobby, before I let her convince me it wasn't worth my time. I start drafting an email to a former client just to test the waters, see if there's still a place for me out there. My fingers hesitate over the keys, doubt creeping in, but I push through and hit send. It's a small step, but it feels like jumping a canyon. I'm not just reclaiming my stuff. I'm reclaiming my work, my passion, my life. Evening falls, and I sit at the table with one of the mysteries. The page is soft under my fingers. The story pulls me in, but my mind wanders sometimes, drifting to her, to what she's doing now. Mr. Collier called yesterday, said the divorce papers were served, said she didn't take it well. I didn't ask for details, didn't need them. I can imagine her rage, her tears, the way she'd spin it to make me the villain. Her brother's probably still in her ear, pushing her to fight, to drag this out. But I'm not fighting her anymore, not the way she wants. I'm fighting for me, and that's a battle she can't win. Ms. Devora knocks later, holding a mug of tea and a plate of cookies. Thought you might be hungry, she says, setting them on the table. I thank her, surprised by the gesture, and she sits for a minute, not pushing but just there. We talk a little about the bookstore, about the neighborhood, about nothing much. It's easy, no pressure, and I realize I haven't had a conversation like this in years, one that doesn't end in demands or guilt. She leaves after a bit, telling me to keep the mug, and I sit there, the tea warm in my hands, feeling something I haven't in a long time, safe. I open my laptop again, not to work, but to write. Not in the journal this time, just a document, a stream of thoughts about starting over. I write about the apartment, the bookstore, the way Ms. Devora's voice feels like a hand on my shoulder. I write about my business, how I want to build it again, make it mine. I don't write about her, not directly, but she's there in the spaces between the words, the reason I'm here, the reason I'm free. I save the document and close the laptop, the room dark now except for the streetlight filtering through the window. I stand and stretch, my body tired but not heavy. I think about tomorrow, another run, another email to a client, maybe a call to Caleb to tell him about this place. I think about Ms. Devora's offer to come down to the bookstore if I can't sleep, and I know I might take her up on it someday. For now, I crawl into bed, the sheets cool against my skin. The apartment's quiet, but it's not empty. It's full of possibility, of choices I get to make, of a life I'm building one day at a time. I close my eyes, the key to this place heavy in my pocket, grounding me. She's out there, fighting a war I've already walked away from. Her brother's out there, too, shouting into the void. But I'm here, in this small room above a bookstore, with my books and my work and my own damn peace. It's foreign, this feeling, but it's beautiful. I don't know what's coming next, not all of it, but I know it's mine. And for tonight, that's enough. I'm sitting at the table in my apartment, the morning light spilling through the window, a half-eaten bagel on a plate beside my laptop. The bookstore downstairs is quiet, but I can hear Ms. Devora moving around, probably shelving books or brewing coffee for the early customers. My journal's open, but I'm not writing today. Instead, I'm staring at an envelope that came in the mail yesterday, her handwriting scrawled across the front. It's thick, like it's carrying more than just words, and I haven't opened it yet. I don't know if I will. 3 weeks have passed since I left the house, and I've built something here, a routine, a space, a life that's starting to feel like mine. Letting her voice back in, even through paper, feels like inviting a storm into a clear day. I pick up the envelope, turning it over in my hands. It's heavy, personal, not like the legal papers Mr. Collier's been sending. I can guess what's inside. An apology, maybe, or a plea, or some mix of guilt and blame to pull me back. I set it down and lean back in the chair, my coffee cooling in the mug Ms. Devora gave me. I think about the last time I saw her, that night in the kitchen, her face twisted with rage as she threw the coffee. I thought I'd feel angry forever, but now, sitting here, I just feel distant, like she's a memory I'm ready to let fade. Still, the letter's there, demanding attention, and I know I'll have to deal with it eventually. I stand and walk to the window, looking out at the street below. A delivery truck's parked across the way, and a kid on a skateboard weaves around it, carefree. I envy that for a second, the ease of not carrying anything heavy. My phone buzzes on the table, and I glance back, expecting Caleb or maybe Mr. Collier. It's a new client, replying to an email I sent about my consulting work. They want a proposal by next week. I smile, small but real, and head back to the laptop, pushing the envelope to the side. Work feels good, like a muscle I'm learning to use again. I've been taking on small projects, rebuilding my business one step at a time, and every contract feels like proof I'm not the failure she made me think I was. I spend the morning drafting the proposal, the words coming easier than I expected. I'm better at this than I remembered, marketing plans, digital strategies, things I used to love before she dismissed them as not serious. I pause to stretch, my eyes drifting to the envelope again. I wonder what she wrote, what she thinks will change my mind. I know her patterns, first the anger, then the tears, then the nostalgia, pulling out old memories like bait. I used to fall for it, thinking I owed her another chance, thinking love meant forgiving everything. But love doesn't burn your face or empty your bank account. I know that now. I grab my running shoes and head out, needing to clear my head. The trail's a short walk from the bookstore, and I hit my stride fast, the air sharp in my lungs. I think about Caleb, how we talked last night about the letter without me even opening it. He didn't push, just listened, then said, "You don't owe her a response. You don't owe her anything." He's right, but it's hard to shake the reflex to answer, to explain myself. I run faster, my feet pounding the dirt, and by the time I loop back, I'm sweaty and tired but clearer. I don't have to read it today. Maybe not ever. Back at the apartment, I shower and sit at the table again, the envelope still there, taunting me. I think about writing her back, not to send, but to get it out of my system. I pull out my journal instead of the laptop, flipping past pages about my runs, my work, my talks with Ms. Devora. I start writing, addressing her, but not really, more like addressing the version of her I loved, the one I thought I'd grow old with. I write about the good times, like that barbecue on the beach, but I don't stop there. I write about the fights, the demands, the way her brother's shadow hung over everything. I write about the coffee, how it wasn't just pain, but a wake-up call. I fill 3 pages, my hand cramping, and when I'm done, I feel lighter, like I've let something go. I close the journal and slide it into a drawer, next to the older ones I labeled the man I was. That's what this letter would be if I sent it. A piece of the past, not the future. I don't need to tell her anything. She knows what she did, and if she doesn't, that's not my problem anymore. I pick up her envelope and walk to the kitchen, where a small box holds odds and ends I haven't sorted. I drop it in, unopened, and shut the lid. It's not gone, but it's not in charge either. I'll deal with it later, or maybe I won't. For now, it's enough to choose me. I head downstairs to the bookstore, needing noise, needing people, even if it's just Ms. Devora and a few customers. The shop's warm, the smell of books grounding me. She's at the counter, sorting a stack of novels, and she glances up when I walk in. "You look like you're thinking too much," she says, half smiling. I shrug, grabbing a book from the free pile, a sci-fi paperback this time. "Just sorting some stuff out," I say, and she nods, like she gets it without needing details. I linger for a bit, flipping through pages, listening to her hum softly as she works. It's simple, but it's enough to pull me out of my head. Back upstairs, I open my laptop again, diving back into the proposal. The words flow, and I lose track of time, the afternoon slipping into evening. My phone buzzes. Caleb, asking if I want to grab dinner this weekend. I text back a quick "yeah, sounds good," and I mean it. I'm starting to look forward to things again, not just surviving them. I think about Ms. Devora's offer to join her for tea some night, about the clients I'm pitching to, about the trail waiting for me tomorrow. These are my pieces now, not hers. I stand and stretch, the apartment dark except for the glow of my laptop. I don't turn on the light. I walk to the window instead, looking out at the street, the bookstore sign flickering below. The box with her letter is in the kitchen, out of sight, and I'm okay with that. I'm not angry anymore. Not at her, not at myself. I'm just done, in the best way possible. I head to bed, the sci-fi book on the nightstand, my running shoes by the door. Tomorrow's another day, and it's mine to shape. For tonight, I close my eyes, the quiet wrapping around me like a promise I'm finally ready to keep. I'm sitting at my table, the morning sun filtering through the window, a mug of coffee warming my hands. The apartment's quiet, just the faint hum of the street below and the occasional creak of the bookstore's sign outside. My laptop's open, but I'm not working yet. I'm reading an email from Mr. Collier, sent late last night. The divorce is final. The words sit there, black and white, no room for doubt. I lean back in the chair, letting it sink in. It's over. Not just the marriage, but the fight, the wait, the years of trying to hold something together that was breaking me apart. I expected to feel something big, relief, maybe, or sadness, but it's simpler than that. I feel steady, like I've finally found solid ground. The email lays it all out. She fought until the end, contesting everything. But Mr. Collier was relentless, his paperwork airtight. I got what was mine, the house, my savings, the things I took when I left. She got her belongings and a small settlement. More than I wanted to give, but less than she demanded. The house is listed now, handled by a neutral agent, and I don't plan to go back. Not to see it, not to remember. It's just a building now, not a home. I sip my coffee, the bitterness familiar but not painful, and I think about how far I've come since that night in the kitchen. My cheeks healed, no trace of the burn left, but the memory's still there, a marker of where I drew the line. I stand and walk to the window, looking out at the street. A delivery van's unloading boxes for the bookstore, and Ms. DeVore is outside, signing for them. She's been a quiet anchor these past weeks, never prying but always there with a mug of tea or a sharp word when I need it. I owe her more than I can say, not just for the apartment, but for the way she's made me feel like I belong here. I think about Caleb, too, how he's been calling more, planning a visit soon. My life's small right now, but it's growing, piece by piece, and I'm not afraid of it anymore. My phone buzzes, and I glance at it. Caleb, right on cue. He sent a link to a book cover, a mock-up he made for the journal I've been writing. The Last Cup, he's calling it, half joking but half serious. I smile, shaking my head. I told him last week I might publish some of my writing, not the whole story but parts of it. The lessons I've learned about standing up, walking away, finding peace. He's been pushing me to do it, saying it could help someone else. I'm not sure I'm ready, but the idea doesn't scare me like it used to. I text back, looks good. Let's talk this weekend. He replies with a thumbs up, and I set the phone down, feeling lighter. I head downstairs to the bookstore, needing to move, to be around people even if I don't talk much. Ms. DeVore is at the counter, sorting the new books, and she nods when I walk in. You're up early, she says, her eyes catching the way I'm standing a little taller today. I shrug, grabbing a rag to help her dust the shelves. We work in silence for a bit, the kind that doesn't need filling. I think about the wedding gifts I donated last week, dishes, frames, things we got when we were still us. I dropped them off at a shelter, no note, no ceremony. It wasn't about erasing her, it was about letting go of what didn't belong to me anymore. The shelter manager thanked me, said they'd help someone start over. That felt right. Back upstairs, I open my laptop and pull up my journal files, the ones I've been adding to since I moved here. Pages about running, about rebuilding my business, about the quiet moments with Ms. DeVore or Caleb's bad jokes. Pages about her, too, but fewer now, like she's fading into the background where she belongs. I start editing, not to publish yet but to see what's there, what I might want to share. The words feel raw, honest, like they're mine in a way nothing was for years. I write about the coffee, not as a wound but as a turning point, the moment I chose myself. It's not a sad story, not anymore. It's just true. I pause to stretch, my eyes drifting to the box in the kitchen where I stashed her letter weeks ago. I haven't opened it, haven't needed to. Whatever she wrote, it's not part of this, my life now, my choices. I think about her brother, how Mr. Collier said he vanished once the money dried up. I'm not surprised. He was never loyal to her, just to what she could get from me. I wonder where she is now, if she's still in the house or if she's moved on, too. I don't wish her harm, but I don't wish her well, either. I just don't think about her much, and that's its own kind of freedom. I grab my running shoes and head to the trail, the air crisp and sharp. I run faster today, my legs strong, my breath steady. I think about the settlement, how it's enough to keep me going while I build my business back up. I think about the cabin upstate, how I might visit soon, maybe start fixing it up. I think about Caleb's book cover, how it might look on a shelf someday. The trail loops back, and I slow to a walk, my heart pounding but not heavy. I'm not running from anything anymore, just towards something better. Back at the apartment, I shower and sit at the table again, the laptop open. I don't write this time. I just read, skimming the pages I've filled since I got here. They're not perfect, but they're real, and that's enough. I think about what Caleb said, helping someone else, sharing what I've learned. Maybe I will. Not for her, not for him, not even for me, but for the guy out there who's still saying yes when he wants to say no, still paying for someone else's choices. I close the laptop and stand, stretching my arms above my head. Ms. Devora knocks later, holding a flyer for a book event she's hosting. "You should come," she says, and I nod, taking it. "I will. I want to be part of this place, not just a tenant." I head to bed early, the apartment dark except for the streetlights glow. My phone's quiet. No calls, no texts, just the life I'm building. I think about the divorce papers, the shelter donation, the journal waiting for me tomorrow. I think about the man I was, the man I'm becoming. I close my eyes, the key to this place on the nightstand, and I sleep deeper than I have in years. Tomorrow's waiting, and I'm ready for it. I'm standing in the bookstore, the smell of fresh coffee and old pages mixing in the air, my hands stuffed in my pockets as I watch a small crowd gather near the counter. Ms. Devora set up a table with a stack of my articles printed out, a simple sign that reads "Meet the author." It's not a book yet, just a few pieces I published online about emotional abuse, about walking away, about finding peace. They went viral last month, shared across platforms I didn't even know existed, and now I'm here, about to read one aloud. My stomach's tight, not with fear, but with something else. Pride, maybe, or just the weight of knowing I've got something worth saying. It's been a month since the divorce finalized, and this feels like the real end of one life, the real start of another. The room's cozy, with chairs scattered around and a few people browsing shelves while they wait. Caleb's in the front row, grinning like he's prouder of this than I am. Ms. Devora's behind the counter, pouring coffee for a couple of regulars, her eyes catching mine with a nod that says I've got this. I pull out my phone, where I've got the articles saved, though I know the words by heart. I wrote them late one night in my apartment upstairs, after a run that left me clearer than I'd been in years. They're not fancy, just honest, about the coffee, the control, the choice to leave. I called it the last cup, and people keep saying it's helped them. That's why I'm here, not for me, but for them. I clear my throat, and the chatter quiets. I start reading, my voice steady, the words carrying more weight out loud than they did on the page. I talk about the moment I realized I deserved better, how walking away wasn't running but reclaiming. I don't mention her by name. Don't need to. She's not the point. The point is surviving, choosing peace over pain. I finish with a line I added last week. Sometimes the quietest goodbye is the most powerful. The room's silent for a second. Then there's clapping, soft but real. I exhale, my shoulders loosening, and I smile, feeling lighter than I expected. People come up after, some shaking my hand, others asking questions. How did I know it was time to leave? How did I start over? I answer as best I can, keeping it simple, saying it's about listening. A woman in the back, her eyes tired but sharp, tells me she left her husband last year, and my article gave her words for what she felt. I nod, thanking her, and it hits me. This is bigger than my story now. Caleb catches my eye, giving me a thumbs up, and I laugh under my breath. He's been pushing me to do a podcast, and I'm starting to think he's right. Ms. Devora brings me a coffee, her way of saying good job without saying it. You're keeping that table up, she says, pointing to the stack of articles. People need this. I thank her, and we talk for a bit as the crowd thins out. She's been more than a landlady these past months, more like a friend, someone who sees me without judging. I head upstairs to my apartment, the buzz of the event still humming in my chest. My laptop's on the table, and I open it, pulling up the podcast app I've been tinkering with. I've recorded a few test episodes, just me talking about what I've learned, what I'm still learning. I listen to one now, wincing at my voice but liking the words. Maybe I'll post it soon. Maybe I'm ready. I grab my running shoes and head to the trail, the evening air cool against my skin. I run slower tonight, not pushing, just letting my thoughts wander. I think about the article, the crowd, the woman who said I helped her. I think about Caleb, who's staying over this weekend, probably to talk me into publishing more. I think about Ms. Devora, how she's hosting another event next month and wants me to read again. My life's small, but it's full, and I don't take that for granted. I loop back to the bookstore, my breath steady, and I feel it, peace, real and solid, not something I have to chase anymore. Back in the apartment, I shower and sit at the table, the room dark except for the streetlight's glow. I open my journal, not to write but to read, skimming pages from the past few months, runs, clients, quiet nights with a book. There's nothing about her anymore, not because I'm avoiding it, but because she doesn't belong here. I heard she moved out of the house, left town, maybe to start over, maybe to run from herself. Her brother's gone, too. No surprise there. I don't wonder about them much. Don't need to. They're not my story now. I stand and walk to the kitchen, pulling a mug from the cabinet, one I bought myself, plain and sturdy. I brew a fresh pot of coffee, the machine hissing softly, and I think about how far I've come since that night in the old kitchen. No yelling now, no demands, no one reaching for my wallet or my silence. Just me, this place, this moment. I pour the coffee and sit back down, the mug warm in my hands. I don't drink yet, just hold it, letting the heat sink into my palms, grounding me. My laptop's still open, and I pull up the podcast app again, hitting record on a whim. I talk for a few minutes, not planning, just letting it out about tonight, about the crowd, about how peace isn't a place but a choice. I save it, not sure if I'll share it, but it feels good to say. I think about the cabin upstate, how I might visit soon, start fixing it up. I think about my business, how it's growing, clients coming back. I think about the bookstore, how Ms. Devora's already planning another event. My life's not perfect, but it's mine, and I'm building it one day at a time. I sip the coffee, the taste sharp and clean, no bitterness left. The apartment's quiet, just the sound of pages turning when I open a book from the shop, a sci-fi novel Ms. Devora recommended. I read for a while, losing myself in the story, and it feels like a gift, this ability to just be, to enjoy something without looking over my shoulder. I set the book down and lean back, the mug still in my hands, the coffee gone cold but the warmth still there, in me. I head to bed, the key to this place on the nightstand, the journal closed for now. Tomorrow's another day, maybe a run, maybe a new client, maybe a call with Caleb about the podcast. I don't know all of it, and I don't need to. I know I'm here, living, choosing, breathing. I close my eyes, the quiet wrapping around me like a promise I've kept. No more last cups, just first ones, and I'm ready for them all.